Warning. Tonight's episode of Ross and Wizzy's Fanfiction Power Hour is very, very scary. Today's episode includes frightening images and scary other things. We would highly advise that you turn away and avert your eyes from this horrific sight. But please, do not turn off the audio. Otherwise, you may die. Hello there, everybody. I'm Ross Pitt, Shark Hunter. This is my best friend in the whole wide world, my biggest bestie, bestaroonie, best pal, Wizzy Puff.
Hello. I'm doing the voice now.
Alright, cool. Wonder what that's all about. Anyways, today on this happy Sunday, we're gonna be reading just a random fan fiction, A Fleeting Light in the Darkness. I don't know what it's about, but I hope this could be an excellent start to your November fun. Oh boy, I'm excited to get back into happier stuff.
Yeah, that's what it looks like from the spelling, at least. It's so wacky.
Yep.
Goofy.
It's crazy. I hope we can mimic these characters in the title card thing, the thumbnail. Anyways, yep, we're gonna be reading A Fleeting Light in the Darkness by FlashGen. FlashGen? We're just gonna call him Flashy. Now this is gonna be a bit different because there's no real talking, but there are journal entries. So we're gonna switch off on pretty much each journal entry. So don't worry, if you hear a switch of narration, it's just changing days.
So you want to get us started?
Yep. With that all out of the way, let's get into this. A Fleeting Light in the Darkness by FlashGen. Chapter Research Notes, with quotation marks. Notes on journal's discovery date and state of town on April 16th. This journal was found in the Ponyville Library, where Twilight Sparkle was keeping her residence since her relocation to Ponyville. It is a case-bound journal, kept in very pristine condition, and reads Research Notes in print on the front cover. All pages are intact, except for a few exceptions as noted when they occur. The library itself was a mess, with books and notes and various supplies, including quills, ink, water, food, and lanterns, strewn about the floor and on the shelves. They were, however, well arranged, leading us to believe that the pigsty, as one agent dubbed it, was not a potential case of breaking and entering. The journal was found on a desk that had been moved to the room's center, accompanied by a plain quill and an empty container of ink. The desk was stained with a few blots of ink, and while a struggle may have been possible, it is not certain this is the
Wait,
case.
is Twilight kidnapped?
Who knows? Perhaps we'll figure it out. The rest of the town was in a similar condition, and some buildings were barricaded, but all were stocked with similar basic provisions and lanterns, with a few exceptions where the buildings were entirely empty. Several streets contained debris, but they only appeared to be shards of glass from broken lanterns or pieces of wood torn from houses and storefronts. None of the actual doors or windows of any building were broken or in disrepair, but some interior doors appeared damaged. No other substantial notes, writings, or evidence related to what occurred have been found. The town hall, however, was completely empty of anything not nailed down, except for the mayor's office, which was in normal condition. As a note, all the writing contained within is cursive, unless otherwise specified. March 26th. Well, I just got back from picking up another month's worth of supplies with Spike. I saw this journal sitting in the window of a store and figured it would be a better alternative to write down some notes on any experiments or research I end up doing during my studies. It tends to get a little difficult to find all those pieces of parchment if Spike or I don't organize them correctly. I've been meaning to start a journal again too, but that's a secondary priority for now. Hopefully I can finally start getting some work done, again with everything stocked up.
Mixing experiments, March 29th. Experiment number 1. 5 milligram bitter root crushed. 200 milliliters water. 10 milligrams double time crushed. 4 petals sweet bloom. Soaked sweet bloom petals in water for 2 minutes and then removed from solution. Added bitter root and mixed until normal acidic reaction occurred. Added double time after... What is double time? Are these all just fake?
Let's see here.
Added double time after about 10 seconds of reaction, and solution began to settle.
A vegetarian food blog written by twin sisters, Grace and Maddie.
Shout out to Grace and Maddie.
Sure they're listening?
Yeah. Everyone listens to this.
Obviously. We're really, really popular.
Remained calm for 10 minutes, after which reaction resumed for 50 seconds to a minute and then stopped. Zikora's suggestion was helpful for calming the mixture, and it did taste a lot sweeter than my usual tea. I'll have to share it with the girls if I get a chance. Experiment 2. 15 milligrams dragon leaf crushed, 300 milliliters water, 50 milligrams hydra extract powdered, 25 milligrams poison joke crushed. Hydra extract and dragon leaf, when mixed in the listed amounts with water, are often used as a sedative for medical operations. It also has a mild effect on plant life, causing a slight shriveling of leaves and flowers on a plant in small doses, with no long-term damage to the plant observed. Poison joke has rather unpredictable effects on ponies, and I thought a few experiments on it might be helpful in understanding it. The hydra extract and dragon leaf were mixed in the water, and its effects observed with a 20 milliliter dosage added to 1 potted sunflower. The edges of the leaves curled inwards towards the midrib, and the flower's petals began to fold back towards the stigma. The crushed poison joke was added to the mixture and given time to settle before a 20 milliliter dosage was added to the original sunflower. The leaves and flower petals unfolded to their original shapes. Another 20 milliliter dosage of the mixture with poison joke was added to a second potted sunflower. Within a minute, 2 more leaves began to grow from the stem at an alarmingly fast rate. The growth stopped, however, just as the leaves began to unfurl. I'll have to try a few more experiments with it to get a better grasp of its uses.
There were several quill indentations on the next 3 pages that did not match up with the shown writing. April 1st. Well, it seems like Pinky decided to use an old staple for April Fool's Day. Vanishing ink. Again. While I was doing some spell research over the weekend, this time it didn't start to disappear until I was finished. A few days of work gone, but it's nothing to worry too much over. Besides, I had a backup plan in case she tried a prank today. Brought her an enchanted exploding cupcake, and the look on her face was priceless, and also not there because I blew it off. Exploding cupcakes. Oh,
so that's why the people are investigating this. It's a murder case.
That makes sense. Yeah, very serious though. Very serious. Going back to the serious stuff. Anyway, I'll have to wait until next weekend to give the research another go though, because Applejack asked for some help with planting this season. She said they were going to add a few dozen trees to the orchard and could use some help getting the new land ready and fenced off. Hopefully Pinky worked out all her pranking today, so we don't get sidetracked. If only she knew what lied on the roads ahead, what waited in the shadows.
April 2nd. Just got back from Sweet Apple Acres with Spike, and boy was it a long day.
And boy are my legs tired. I don't know.
Ooh-wee. Spike's gonna have a hard job massaging him tonight. I don't know, I just picture Spike as like a slave to her.
Yeah, well, I've heard that one before.
Bop, bop, bop.
Ba-da-ba-ba.
We had to get started early, but we managed to get the fences put in and the soil ready for planting before the end of the day. Applejack says we can probably get finished with all the planting tomorrow, and then we can spend the rest of the day watering or helping her out with the rest of the orchard, although she insists her family can handle the rest on their own. We probably could have finished more if we hadn't been interrupted in the middle of the day, though. Jelly Belly stopped by the farm, asking if anyone had seen her brother since yesterday. She kept asking if it was some late prank he was pulling with Pinkie Pie, but she insisted it wasn't. Something about it being in the blue saddlebag if you missed it. I'm sure he was just out and about for the day, or maybe took a trip to Trottingham for a day or two. I do remember hearing that he was trying to find a shop there that would buy his family's treats. Hopefully he'll turn up soon, and whatever Pinkie's prank wasn't too jarring. Anyway, I just have to double-check to make sure all the books I used over the weekend are still where I left them before I head off to bed. Want to make sure I can get started as soon as I have free time. The first are long gone, just like all the others now, but they found a new home.
April 3rd. We finished helping Applejack with her planting on the new part of the orchard today. Spike said he'd take care of the cleaning I was planning to do when we got home, so I decided to drop by Jelly Belly's house to see if she had any news about her brother since yesterday. She said he hadn't showed up yet, but he had been known to disappear a few times before, so she wasn't entirely worried. She just wanted to save herself from him popping out of a cupboard to surprise her. Before I left, though, she mentioned him leaving notes when he left unannounced before, so he might have been in a hurry this time, I suppose. I still had a little time left before sundown, so I went out to Zikora's to tell her that her suggestion worked perfectly for the tea, and we even got to make some before I had to leave. Hers tasted a little better than mine, but that's probably because she had fresher ingredients. I'm not bad at making tea.
She's not better at making tea or anything. You're so obvious. This is in your private journal, Twilight, and you're being so obvious.
And of course, when I got home, Spike was fast asleep on the stairs with a broom. Oh, you little guy. I really hope he'll learn his limits someday, though that will probably take a while. They thought they were deserters that wanted a vacation. The vacation started when they left, and they will come back.
Research material for spell combination and augmentation, April 4th. 115 spells for practical use by Shooting Star. Contains some more basic spells that should be safer and easier to modify and combine. We'll probably only use it for basic reference material and to come up with a few basic ideas before I actually try anything. Weaving spells. The Art of Making New Magic by Silverstreak. A good basic guide on how spell augmentation came about and how to do it safely. Should be a good source from when I get started to when I finish. Battle Casting and Magical Self-Defense by Stalwart Bulwark. Only really useful for a few sections about how to combine spells on the fly. The rest of it might be useful for a few other abstract subjects, so I'll keep it in mind. Cooking with Magic by Amethyst. Amethyst? I thought this was My Little Pony, not Steven Universe.
Wah, wah, shut up.
Oh my god, you can't just tell. Fine, I'll shut up.
They had a character named Amethyst. They had a character named Amethyst before Steven Universe came out.
Well, I wouldn't know about that.
Well, I would. So,
despite the rather misleading title, it's actually a pretty good guide on the basics of how to combine spells. Should be helpful for getting started. Blue and yellow make anything.
Blue and yellow. I thought this was My Little Pony, not Steven Universe.
Blue and yellow. Blue and yellow make anything. An advanced guide to combining spells by Brazenhoof. A more advanced book on the subject of using spells together, but it does explain how to build on the basics in more varied ways, so it's a natural step from cooking with magic. Overall, these should help me get caught up on all my research this weekend.
April 6th, or 6th, whatever it is. Rarity asked for some help with picking out some new fabrics today. I didn't think I would be of much help, but Spike was rather insistent on going and bringing him with me. And I didn't have much planned today, so I figured it was better than lazing around the library all day. The trip to the market was fairly uneventful, except that Rarity was eavesdropping on a few ponies making gossip. I probably shouldn't talk, though, since I couldn't help myself either, mostly because the conversation was a little peculiar. Juniper was talking to Meadow Blossom about Thunder Lane, and how he was so sexy. I'm kidding, that was a joke, guys. I'm sorry, we joke on this podcast from time to time.
We don't joke.
Shut up. Juniper was talking to Meadow Blossom about Thunder Lane. I think it had been something to do with him running off with Cloud Chaser because they hadn't shown up for morning weather duty. I know it's probably nothing to be worried about, but it just seems too coincidental that 3 ponies would be gone unannounced in the same week. I'm sure they'll turn up soon, though.
Preliminary spell augmentation and combination experiments, April 7th. It seems like it's going in a pattern where I get to read these parts and Ross gets to read the more journal entry-ish ones.
Yeah, what the hell, Twilight? I want to read those parts maybe sometime. Oh, the next
Light
one is,
spell.
like, super short for me. Oh well.
Light spell. A basic spell for causing luminescence at the tip of the caster's horn. Alteration number 1. Increased focus /input. Strength of the spell is linearly proportional to the amount of focus used by the caster, at the cost of a more draining cast. Alteration number 2. Change in focus after cast. By focusing enough on a point, the light source can be moved from the caster's horn. This focus is not too much of an additional strain, but once the spell is ended, any additionally casted light spells will begin at the caster's horn again. Combination number 1, longevity spell. Once the light spell has been moved from the caster's horn, they can cast a longevity spell on it. This locks the light source in place, and at the original intensity, for a period determined by how much energy was put into the longevity spell. If the input is linearly proportional to the period for which the light will remain active, it would most likely last 2 hours at the most. Combination number 2, longevity spell and movement spell. No amount of force put into moving the light source once it is kept active seems capable of moving it, nor was any physical attack. There was a scream outside earlier. Just a few hours after sundown.
Just kind of had a southern drawl there for a second.
I'm trying to do very slight southern. That was too southern for me.
Too southern.
There was a scream outside earlier, just a few hours after sundown, when I was doing my research. Practically every pony that was still awake was outside trying to figure out where it came from. The Cakes were asking if anyone had seen Lily or Daisy, because they'd just left Sugar Cube Corner after making an order. I tried to look for them in the crowd, but they weren't there. That's when Jelly Belly started shouting about her brother, and Rumble about Thunder Lane being missing, and that no one had seen Cloud Chaser either.
Not Cloud Chaser.
I remember that name, but I don't remember that character.
Maybe you'll figure out someday. I'm
Before
sure we
too long.
mentioned her sometime.
I'm pretty sure that it was in the fic with Derpy Hose being in the hospital with cancer. But I don't remember why they were talking about Cloud Chaser.
No, that was Cloud Kicker.
Oh.
Possibly. Maybe. I don't know.
Man, these ponies are too hard to get in order for me.
Oh, they're super simple. They're so easy.
Before too long, everyone was arguing and shouting at each other. Luckily, the mayor showed up to calm everyone down, and she said there would be a meeting tomorrow morning at town hall. It's late. I should get to sleep.
April 8th. The meeting went better than I expected it to go. Thankfully, everyone was more composed than last night. The mayor assured every pony that the police were already investigating the disappearances. But several ponies were still concerned about safety. The mayor said police would be out on the streets at night, but until they know what's going on, she asked that everyone stay inside after sundown. Whoever is behind all of this, I hope they're caught soon, and everyone that's gone missing is safe.
It's gonna end like that episode of SpongeBob where everyone just was avoiding SpongeBob.
Yeah, but this is bullshit. You get this long paragraph in the next one. It's like 2 very short ones, and then you get another long one. My god, it goes on like that. What the fuck? Like, I don't mind it, but it feels unfair.
This page was removed from the journal and found folded between the pages. There is no evidence that it was removed from the same place it was tucked into the journal. It is wrinkled, as if it were crumpled up before being flattened out and folded again. The writing is print rather than the cursive found previously. No, that looked like print to me.
Yes.
I'm in an alleyway, and the buildings look like Canterlot. It's dark and cold, but there's a candle a few feet down the alley. I can't tell if it's into or out of the alley, but I walk towards it. I feel warm as I step into its glow, and secure in the safety it brings. The candle flickers and its wax melts as minutes pass by, and then hours, and then days. But they feel like they pass in seconds. I look around and the alley is gone, but the candle still remains. My friends step into the light, smiling at me, but they aren't alone. My family, my teachers, and practically every pony I've ever known is there, just smiling at me. They start singing, but I can't hear it. They begin to disappear in the blink of an eye, one by one, until only my friends are left. Dash and Applejack fade together.
No.
Oh, I get it, because of the ship.
Sure.
And then Fluttershy vanishes, a frown on her face. Pinky and Rarity are still there with Spike, smiling.
Yay, best ship.
But they just
Not
drift
either
away.
With Spike, but Pinky and Rarity. Okay, sorry.
I think I was saying Rarity and Spike at first.
Gross. Yuck.
But they just drift away, like the candle and I are moving away from them. The last thing I see is a face, barely illuminated by the candlelight. It stares at me, frowning, as if it's upset. Its lips
sounds
part.
like Wizzy.
I do stare at Ross, frowning as if I'm upset all the time.
That would be scary. If you just see Wizzy's face in the darkness.
Its lips part and it blows out the candle, smiling as the light fades. It's cold again, and I'm alone, but they will come back again and spread to everything, just like a... And then there's a picture and it says virus in some cool font.
Nice.
It seems more like a dream journal than an actual journal.
I agree. I also think that I should, make the thumbnail image in this freaking font.
Ooh.
So that it'll be like, oh, what's going on there? It's so different.
Oh, yeah. That'll really get in the viewers. We might get 2 extra views.
April 10th. The police are still investigating, but I think another pony went missing last night. No one seems to want to talk about it, but Pinky said she overheard some of the police talking while she was making a delivery for the cakes. They didn't say who it was, but they were talking about an animal for some reason, as if some wild creature could kidnap half a dozen ponies in the dark. I mean, there's evidence that could happen.
In the Everfree Forest.
I tried asking her if she was playing some prank with Spike with this entry, but they both said they didn't know anything about it. I can't let all of this happen without doing something, so I'm writing to Princess Celestia. It might not help a lot, but maybe having more ponies helping, or at least some more security, would do some good. I don't want to have to hear about this anymore, or see everyone so worried and frightened.
April 11th. I didn't hear back from the princess today, but at least there was no bad news today. Some ponies were even starting to walk around the town again during the day. I don't know if everyone thinks it's safe, or if they just want to stay brave, but it's good to have things feel normal.
Show no fear.
I took the chance to go check on every pony. Applejack is holding up all right. She said they managed to finish all of their seeding, and all the ruckus hadn't hampered their plans for the harvest. She wasn't sure what was going on, but had faith that whoever was behind it would be brought to justice. Rainbow Dash was fine too, and was boasting about how she'd be ready to fight if anyone tried to take her hostage.
She's gonna die first.
Right?
I'll stay strong.
Pinky didn't seem shaken by things at all, but she was worried if every pony that had disappeared was still safe. She's been making deliveries for the cakes because some ponies are too frightened to leave their houses, but they seemed more concerned for her than she is for herself. Fluttershy was still at her cottage, but she was more shaken than I'd expected her to be. She said she was having trouble sleeping and that she always felt uneasy when she was alone. Rarity was stopping by to check on her too, and she seemed calm and and collected, at least around Fluttershy. Rarity offered to let her stay at the boutique, but she didn't want to leave all of the animals behind. Take the animals into the boutique.
Rarity would not allow that.
Right. It took a bit of convincing from the both of us, but she packed up her things, as long as Rarity didn't mind her taking some sick animals with her. It was getting late, but I didn't want to head home without checking on Zecora. I found my way out to her hut, but the lights were off and the door was locked. I wanted to look around for her, but it was getting dark. I wasn't really worried about being attacked or kidnapped. I just felt uneasy in the dark. I hurried home as quickly as I could, but I hope Zecora is all right.
She's not.
April. Is that a spoiler?
I don't know. I haven't read this in so long. I have no idea. April 12th. I just got a letter from the princess, just after sundown. She apologized for not replying sooner, that she was tied up with some royal business, but she promised to send someone, should be some pony by the way, down in the morning. No word on if there were any disappearances, but even if there were, I'm sure the mayor is making the police stay quiet. Maybe it is some kind of animal. I mean, there's no way any pony could avoid capture for so long all on their own. Whoever or whatever it is, I'm sure the guards will keep everyone safe. Certain of it. Positive. Absolutely positive.
Yeah, they seem so competent.
Trust me.
April 13th. The investigators arrived from Canterlot this morning. There were 3 of them, and a dozen guards too. I don't know if the guards were there to help, or just to keep the investigators safe, but they were needed for the latter. Reporters asking them questions and ponies pleading for the safe return of their family. Within a few hours, they were calling for a meeting at Town Hall. They were taking volunteers to keep the streets safe at night because the princess was more concerned with safety than finding out what had happened. I was a little surprised that so many hooves were in the air, considering how many ponies were afraid when all of this started, and how many sounded upset. Rainbow Dash, Applejack, and Big Macintosh were among them, of course. Those guys are so tough. I didn't know what I could do, but I had to do something, so I volunteered too. Pinky, Rarity, and Fluttershy are staying here at the library with Spike, and it's a few minutes until sundown. It should be a lot less likely that something bad happened with all this security.
Beautiful. I'm gonna go turn my light off. I think it should be real spooky. Alright, the light is off and I am thoroughly spooked out. April 14th. It was uneventful until midnight. I was with Applejack and Rainbow Dash, along with one of the investigators from Canterlot, named Sugarcane. I was trying to get something out of him about what's going on with the investigation, or if they had any leads about who or what was behind it. But he didn't want to talk much. Applejack and Dash tried to assure me that things would be all right, and to trust in the investigators, but I wasn't convinced. That's when a scream came from a few streets away. We rushed towards it as quickly as we could and arrived at the same time as 2 other patrols. There was only one guard, a broken lantern, and no sign of the others that were with him. He didn't even seem injured, just frozen in fear. Sugarcane and the other investigators were asking him what happened, while one of the other guards rushed off towards the hospital. Everyone that had stayed inside was turning on their lights and trying to get a look outside to find out what had happened. The guards tried to keep curious ponies away and tell them to go back to bed, but the guard that was attacked just started rambling. He said they saw something just in the dark of an alleyway. It didn't look like a pony, and it was just staring at them for a few moments while another guard with their lantern moved closer. He said it screeched so loudly that his ears were ringing, that it sounded like a train screeching to a halt, and it lunged out of the alleyway at them, knocking the lantern away. He said the others were gone in a moment, before they could even scream, and then it just sat there, staring at him. He just kept shaking and screaming about hearing it whisper to him. A few nurses from the hospital arrived, and they took the guard off. The investigators were talking in private, trying to decide what to do, but they eventually told everyone to go back to their homes. I offered to let Dash and Applejack stay at the library with the others and I, but Applejack said she'd be fine at Sweet Apple Acres, and Dash insisted she was fine on her own, even though I could tell she was a little spooked. Well, she does live in a cloud house, so she's probably fine, honestly.
Well, what if it can reach the clouds?
What if it can just extend its arm real far?
I mean, I can probably do that.
Oh, well, you're a tall motherfucker, dude. These are little ponies. At best, this creature's probably as big as me.
What if it's like a changeling? Those guys can probably fly.
Well, yeah, but it's not a changeling, I doubt. I mean, maybe. When was this made?
Some gross experiment that
December 2012, so it could be, I guess, but
Chris listed to make a super-powered changeling.
Ooh, that would be so cool. I doubt we're actually going to get what it is in this fanfiction. Let's face it, doesn't seem like that type of fic. I don't know if I should keep writing about this, but if all of this stops, someone has to know, just in case whatever it is happens again.
April 15th. Practically everyone is confined to their houses now, except for a few hours. The police want to keep every pony safe, if not from this thing, then at least from each other. And they're setting up lights to cover the streets during the night. I guess they think that because it knocked a lantern away, it must not like the light. It's not too far-fetched on an idea. Spike and I have been looking for any books that might have anything to do with creatures, myths, or legends, but it's starting to get late, especially considering I didn't get any sleep last night. I got to pick up a few lanterns, oil, candles, and some food from Rarity, Pinkie Pie, and Fluttershy.
They know something's wrong. They can sense it. They can fear it. Hell, I can fear it. I'm scared. So, how's everybody enjoying the fic so far? Creepy stuff, man. Creepy stuff. I wouldn't trust Ponyville to be able to stop this guy, whoever they may be. It's secretly me. Shh, don't tell Wizzy, but I'm gonna reveal that at the end.
Okay.
That I was the creature all. Oh, Wizzy, you're back. Hi.
I got to pick up a few lanterns, oil, candles, and some food from Rarity, Pinkie Pie, and Fluttershy's places. We all agreed it would be best if we stayed here together. Maybe in the morning I'll have a chance to look into this. The validity of any further entries is still under question. While the writing is the same style as previous entries, and there is no belief that they were written by anyone but Miss Sparkle, the contents are viewed as unlikely to have occurred and counteract several facts about the dates listed. Please consider this with any further reading. Take everything that Miss Sparkle says with a grain of salt.
I'm sorry, Wizzy, I just can't continue. I'm too frightened. No, I'm kidding.
Oh, well.
There are several faint watermarks on this page, and several that follow. April 16th. I can't even believe what I'm writing, or that this is even real still. Spike woke me up this morning while it was still dark. I wasn't really thinking why the lights that had been shining through the window last night weren't still on, but I had asked him what was going on. He was a little shaken, trying to speak while he held up a clock. It was 10 in the morning, or at least 10 on the clock. It just couldn't be possible. I had to double check, triple check even, with the other clocks in the library, and they were all the same. I looked outside, and the sky was dark. No sun, no clouds, not even any stars or the moon. It was just blank. It was just black. The window was frosted, but it was warm to the touch. I wrote to Princess Celestia to see if something was wrong, but when I gave Spike the parchment, it just burned into ash. I asked Spike if he'd done it right, but he said it was the same thing he always did. I tried it again, but it did the same thing. I had no idea what was going on, and I still don't. It just doesn't seem possible. I told the others after trying to come to grips with it. Rarity and Pinkie Pie were shocked, but Fluttershy took it the worst. She was even more frightened than she'd already been, but we did our best to calm her down. She's still worried about all of the critters back at her cottage. If they're safe, and if Applejack and Rainbow Dash are too. I pray that they are, but there's no way to know for sure right now. We just have to hope for the best. I didn't see any pony out on the streets during the day, but there were lights on in the houses and silhouettes in the windows, so at least everyone seems alright for now. I could even see a few brighter lights in the direction of Sweet Apple Acres and the town hall, but past that there was nothing. No Canterlot in the distance or any other lights. Even stranger was that anywhere dark inside was cold, but not in any way I could feel on my skin. It was like my bones were freezing, and it seeped out into the rest of my body. The second I set up a candle or lantern, though, it was fine. I have them set up around the library, and we have enough extras to last a little while at least. Maybe we can find out something here, where it's safe for now. Just the fact that it's dark would be enough, but with the unnatural cold and the fact that Spike can't send anything to the princess, I'm worried, I'm scared, and I just want an explanation. We looked through a dozen books, but there wasn't anything about some. There is a rather large ink blot at the end of the E stroke. Creature that can do this. Maybe tomorrow. For now, the doors and windows are locked. It should be enough. Breaking down slowly like all the others, I'm still here. Because I listened. If only they had too.
April 17th. Nothing substantial today. I read through equestrian wildlife, two-headed mythological mysteries, medieval pony folklore, and factual legends. Nothing anywhere related to this. Even a little. A few lights turned off across the way. I hope they just tried to get somewhere else with others. The town hall and Sweet Apple Acres are still the brightest. Maybe there are some others at the farm with Applejack. If there are any, they'd certainly be safe with her. To make all of it worse, Fluttershy came down with a fever this morning. Luckily, Rarity and Pinkie had kept her in bed for the rest of the day and helped take care of her. I just wish they didn't look just as bad, but who am I to talk? I've barely slept since the night I was on patrol. On patrol. And every second that I'm awake is spent doing research. What do I even have to show for that? No clues, no leads, not even the faintest idea what is happening or making it happen. Rarity, Pinky, and Spike have been spending their time talking and trying to relax. They sound so happy. Oh my god, my dog.
Damn pooch.
The dog sounds so happy. They sound so happy considering everything that's happening. Maybe they have the right idea. I should take a break before bed anyway.
April 18th. Fluttershy's fever seems better today, and I figured we should set up shifts to make sure everyone gets enough sleep, and that nothing gets in. Fluttershy wants to help, but we've told her everything should be fine without her. We'll stay awake like we normally do, and spend about 3 hours each keeping watch, just in case. I volunteered to go first, just so I can keep up my research. I started going through any more legend and myth books I could find around the library, but things are starting to run dry, and I don't have many other sources. Pinky suggested looking in something like ghosts, goblins, and ghoulish figures. I don't think looking at a book about ghost stories is going to help, but it's kind of frightening to think that it's the closest to what's actually happening. Maybe I'll give it a look before I head to bed. We took some time to talk about our families. Rarity says that Sweetie Belle is with her parents, but she's worried because she can't see their house from the library. Pinky was more concerned about the cakes than her own relatives. She hopes they're far enough away from here that they aren't in danger. I don't even know if the rest of Equestria is experiencing this too. Well, from the prologue, I guess probably not. Canterlot would be the safest place, no matter what's happening. I'm sure Mom and Dad are safe there with shining armor. I just hope the reason the letters weren't being sent isn't that the princess is hurt. I think another light or two is going out. I hope it's just ponies trying to stay together instead of separated. Maybe I could try and get down to Sweet Apple Acres to see if Applejack and any of the others are alright. Though getting to Town Hall might be easier considering how close it is. That's all for later, though. I need to focus now.
This page is torn from the top right to the bottom left. It does not seem that whoever did so was trying to remove any specific information. The words along the tear are tentatively filled in, based on partial letters along the tear. April 19th. The watch went fine last night. Everyone is feeling a bit better now, getting some actual sleep. I think I finally found something from ghosts, goblins, and ghoulish figures to Took a bit of searching, but I found something that seems to match what's happening a little bit. There's a legend from northern Equestria, back from when the Ever-Free discovered. Some foresters and explorers were supposedly seeing odd forest. They called them shadow walkers because they would only corner of someone's eye. I know it isn't a lot to go on, and the legend isn't detailed how they would do it, but it fits, at least a little. Maybe that would help and give any more insight into it, but the whole scary stories, more than anything concrete, either kept the page marked along with any others. In case it gets unmarked, it's page 4, 6, or 8. Any other numbers are unknown. Questioning where they came from and what they are, she was misbehaving, like a whiny child wants to know why she's being given candy. If she listened, she would know. I stole what they learned, but they gave something in return.
5 pages afterwards are ripped from the journal as well, but another folded page was found in between the pages. This page was not wrinkled like the previous one, but its writing is in print like the previous inserted page, and the tears along its side matches the first of the removed pages. The same as before. What little I can remember, the alleyway, the candle, but no one came this time. I sat there for hours, watching it flicker and the wax melt and slide down its side. I felt watched, and I could hear them whispering about me. How long will she last? How much will it take? Will they ever learn? Should they? Could they? Do they even deserve to? I take a deep breath and slowly blow out the candle. The face is there again. Ugh. Sorry, I'm still just imagining Wizzy's face.
Why do you have to pick on me when we're in the
Because
middle of a
you're-
spooky story?
I don't know, it's just reflex.
I'm hurt. I am hurting.
Well, not as much as Twilight probably will be. The face is there again, and I can see its eyes staring at me, but they're empty, hollow, and black, just like Wizzy's. It smiles, as if it's saying that I did the right thing. I feel cold, but it fades as the shadows envelop and shelter me. They're welcoming and warming. They're welcoming and warm, and I finally give in, at peace with my mistakes. I'll probably forget again. Why am I remembering now? She never remembers because it was painful, illogical, unacceptable. She couldn't leave them behind. Loyalty isn't her talent, but she clings to it like a lifesaver. Maybe because the other was missing, or maybe because she trusted them. She made a mistake trusting me, but I was not with them in the end.
See, I thought that it was Twilight writing these bold things that are at the end of these chapters, pages, whatever they are. But
well,
apparently it's not.
Yeah, I didn't think that.
Well, that's because you don't think. April 20.
I was the right one in the end, so.
Well, that's because you were just not thinking either way.
Okay, sure.
April 21st. Fluttershy broke a lamp earlier. I don't know how it happened, but the rest of us rushed over with some light. She was shivering, probably from the cold, and just staring at the window. It took a bit of work, but we managed to get her attention. She looked a little pale and feverish, so Rarity took her back upstairs to get some medicine and rest. Pinky's still trying to act normal, but I think Rarity is slipping. I saw her crying in the corner earlier. When I asked her about it, she said it was nothing, but I can tell she's worried. Probably about her family, or Applejack and Rainbow Dash. Not surprisingly, Spike has been spending a lot of time with her. Whenever he talks to me, he sounds so frightened, but every time he's been talking to her, he tries his hardest to act brave. I never expected something like this to make him so much more mature. I know it sounds silly, but I'm proud of him. I know for certain now that lights are turning off, but the town hall and Sweet Apple Acres are still lit in the distance. I'm thinking about trying to get Sweet Apple Acres to talk with Applejack, if she's still there. I could teleport from house to house to stay in the light, but I don't want to leave everyone else here, especially if Fluttershy starts getting worse again. They might not even be there. I'll ask Rarity and Pinky what they think tomorrow. For now, I need to stay focused for the watch. I've been reading battle casting and magical self-defense just in case it comes to that. Maybe it would help me feel like I have some control.
April 22nd. I talked to Rarity, Spike, and Pinky about heading to Sweet Apple Acres. They were a bit more indecisive than I thought they'd be. Pinky and Spike really want me to stay, but Rarity thinks it's the only way we can try and move forward. And I think so too. I told them I'd wait a day or two to think it over some more, but it will have to be soon, or there won't be many lights left. Fluttershy was up and about again, thankfully. I saw her looking out the window, I think towards her cottage. I asked her if she was okay, and she said she was fine, but that she was worried about them. I assumed she meant the other ponies or the critters back at her cottage. So I told her they were safe. I guess it gave her some comfort, because she smiled. I don't really know if she believes it or not. I don't even know if I do. Pinky asked for our help earlier with something. I wasn't really sure what to expect, but she pulled out a few cupcakes and birthday candles she'd brought with her. She said it was Junebug's birthday today, and she was going to throw a party for her before everything happened, but she didn't exactly have the decorations for it now. She said it probably wasn't worth much, but that we should wish her a happy birthday, even if she wasn't here. I didn't really know what to say, but Pinky had a point. Just because we weren't all together doesn't mean we should forget about them, no matter how dire things are. The cupcakes were good too. Too blind to see reality, too deaf to hear their wisdom, too mute to speak her truth, too numb to feel fear, joy, pain, love, sorrow, courage, hatred, accepted.
April 23rd. I've been getting ready to head out today. Rarity and Pinky helped me mark a few houses that were still lit on the map of the town, and I think I have a good path from here to the orchard set up. It's going to be a 2-day trip. One to get there, rest, and talk to the others, and one to get back. If everything goes according to plan, we can start working together on a way out of all of this. Maybe I'll find someone on the way there. A new face or any other sign of life would be assuring at this point. Pinky gave me a few of the cupcakes she had left, just in case I do find anyone. She said it would make...
You little... The dog knows it's a bad idea.
She does.
Twilight, don't! Twilight, no!
She said it will make them feel happier to see a friendly face and a cupcake, instead of just a friendly face. Oh, right, they're only in it for the cupcakes.
Yeah.
Fluttershy asked me to keep an eye open for any of her critters and tell them that she's safe. Spike didn't say it in front of Rarity, but he still didn't want me to go. Or at least, go without him. I told him that I'd be safe on my own, and I promised to come back. It was hard not to cry when he started, but I told him to be strong for Rarity, Pinky, and Fluttershy. I know he promised, but I'm still worried. I hope everything will be all right.
Like, legit, though, Twilight would be the best one to go alone.
That does sound likely. Especially, without the choice of Rainbow Dash or Applejack.
Yeah. But, like, out of all of them, though, she would still be the best one.
Probably.
Magic, you know?
Yeah.
Or at least magic that's useful. Unlike Rarity.
Yeah, that's true.
Although later season Rarity did get pretty badass, but...
With the, without the, magic of teleporting and stuff, then Applejack and Rarity would probably be, not Rarity, Applejack and Rainbow Dash would probably be pretty screwed.
Yeah, probably. April 24th. First 3 houses down. Seems like the route is working so far, but no sign of anyone. No clues of where anyone that might have been here went. But there are supplies scattered all over the place. Maybe I can pick some up on the way home. Another 2 houses done. One had the doors barricaded, leading outside into a closet. Didn't want to make the time to break them down, but I could have sworn I heard something. It sounded like whispers, but it's probably the wind in my imagination. I need to stay focused. Just over halfway there. Still no one. Oh, hey, we're an hour in. Look at that. Just over halfway there. Still no one. Some of the recent houses were picked clean, though. So maybe everyone left and headed to Town Hall or Sweet Apple Acres. Fingers crossed. I hope they made it if they did. Only a few more houses to go. I'm almost there. All right, come on. Come on, Twilight, come on. Almost there. But the house before this was unsettling. The door was broken down when I got there, and the lights were flickering. It felt odd, fluctuating between cold and warm, so quickly. I felt watched, and I got out as quickly as I could. I'll try to skip it on the way back. It's empty.
Is she talking about Sweet Apple Acres, or...?
No. I think
Okay.
it was one of the
I wasn't
few
sure if
houses.
she was just, like, so upset that she only wrote "It's empty" after she had gotten to Sweet Apple Acres. Alright.
You know what? That might be it, but I'm pretty sure that... Yeah, I don't know.
April 25th. They took some of the lights from the streets back in Ponyville and had set them up all around the orchard. I thought I didn't see anyone immediately.
It's always on yours.
Right? I thought I didn't see anyone immediately because they were all inside, but I looked everywhere. There's no notes left behind that they left to go somewhere, but I did find a book out of one of the counters with a quill next to it. It looks like a journal on crop rotations and planting in the orchard. Maybe someone was using it. Just started reading the journal. It looks like Applejack and the others were coming to the same conclusions, and Rainbow Dash was here too. I looked around again, and I think there are graves here.
Oh,
The soil is freshly moved. They're marked with shovels. There aren't any names.
Oh.
I buried it, not just to get it out of my mind. No one should have to see what was in that book. I'll head back to the library after some rest.
They killed and ate people.
She had many sins, ignoring their signs, forgetting their warnings, fighting their will. Ignoring makes them louder. Forgetting makes them angrier. Fighting makes it hurt. So Applejack was the one killing everyone.
That makes sense because Applejack sucks.
No, that makes sense because she is a queen who is more powerful than everyone else.
Okay. Okay. April 26th. I got back earlier today and picked up a few things on the way back. Food, lantern oil, some candles, ink, etc. I really didn't expect what I returned to. Pinky, Rarity, and Spike were waiting for me, and they all looked worried, even after they greeted me so happily. I asked them what was wrong. That's when they showed me Fluttershy. They tied her up. Oh, I remember this part.
I don't.
Thank you, Izzy. Thank you. They tied her up. I asked what happened, and Rarity said she found Fluttershy staring out a window again, talking to herself. Rarity tried to talk to her, but she was dismissive and said, "They're more important." Rarity just assumed she was still shaken up about all the critters she left behind. But then she started spending all her time at the window, muttering to herself. Then she found her awake in the middle of the night, standing at the door. Rarity said she was trying to open it. Rarity and Pinky stopped her and tied her up. She was screaming at them and fighting them. They said she didn't even sound like herself anymore. I think everyone is losing their steam. Especially after the news I brought back. Pinky still thinks they're safe somewhere, but I'm just not sure. Fluttershy's still yelling about how it's unfair. I got the same point across.
Same thing.
Fluttershy's still yelling about how it isn't fair. About we're keeping her from them. How they chose her and wanted her to come to them. And that what they had shown her was beautiful. Maybe those whispers I heard were real, and they're louder for her. Maybe they're trying to tempt us all to come out. I won't let it happen. I won't let it end like this. I have to find some way out.
April 27th. Wonderful.
God damn.
April 27th. Fluttershy hasn't stopped talking for about 15 hours now. I'm trying to focus on research. Wait, only 15 hours? I can talk for way longer than that, Fluttershy. Let's have a contest. You and me, one-on-one. I'm trying to focus on research, but I'm running out of leads. All the information I found before just isn't adding up to any way out of
Actually
this.
running out of leads.
What?
Just made a stupid joke. It's actually
Oh
running
my
out
God.
of leads.
All the information I found before just isn't adding up to any way out of this. And I don't even know if I could defend everyone, or even just myself, from what's out there. Rarity was trying to keep herself occupied. She found an old sewing machine that was in the basement, and just started breaking apart the curtains and some of her other dresses to make something new. She's just running herself ragged to try and forget everything else. It sounds like a good way to occupy yourself.
Yeah.
Especially in this situation.
Yeah, go her.
Pinky tried to keep Spike away from Fluttershy as much as she could. She could tell he was a little unsettled by her. He's trying so hard to stay brave, even after all of this.
Oh, my boy.
I think I'm hearing the whispers again. When I stop reading or writing, they're definitely there, but they're so quiet. Maybe it's just the wind or paranoia getting to me. Maybe I'm just fooling myself. I'm getting weird dreams, too, and they're like the ones I thought were pranks before. Did I really forget them? How was that even possible? I pulled one out of the trash, since it luckily wasn't thrown out yet, and it's all just too uncanny.
It's all just so weird.
Maybe Fluttershy saw them, like the guard. Oh my god.
Those dogs hate you. Or maybe they hate the thing that's in your house.
Ross, stop making them bark. I know you're in the crawl space.
You know what this reminds me of?
What?
H.P. Lovecraft. Less
Right,
racist, but H.P. Lovecraft.
I was thinking the same thing earlier in the story. Because it's just like that cool style of writing that's just like horror based on the unknown and horrible creations and whatnot. It's just a really cool, the best way to write horror, in my opinion.
I agree. Ish. I mean, H.P. Lovecraft didn't do it too great, in my opinion.
I think he had some pretty good stuff.
He did have some good stuff. This one particularly reminds me of, was it The Shadow of Innsmouth or whatever? Shadow over
Don't
Innsmouth?
think I've
The one
read
with the
that.
fish people.
Don't think I've read that.
It's not particularly great. But, anyways, it reminds me of that one.
Maybe Fluttershy saw them, like the guard. Maybe that's why she can hear them. I just wish she would be quiet so that I could rest for just a bit. We tried gagging her, kinky, but she just kept fighting. She bit Spike. I don't even think she's really her, just because that can't be her. How could her body twist like that? Oh, God.
She's so cool. Wow. I had no idea she was a
Contortionist.
contortionist. Thank you, Izzy. I had no idea she was a contortionist.
The writing becomes sloppy for the remaining lines. So I'll read it sloppy. I just have to stay awake. No. I just have to stay awake. Only until Rarity is ready. I have to stay focused. I have to stay awake. I won't let this end. I won't give up. I won't lose them. I won't, 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 I won't.
Fucking nailed it.
I've tried to.
I'm glad you did. April 28th. Fluttershy's gone. I don't know how, but she's nowhere to be found. No windows are unlocked and the doors aren't unbarred. She just vanished. She took some of the pages from my notebook. That's what happened to them. About the research I found. I can barely even remember where I found it from, and now it's gone. The whispers are louder now, and everyone else is hearing them too. I feel like we're being watched, like there are eyes just outside the window. I keep seeing shadows out of the corner of my eye, and the wind rapping against the door is getting stronger. Didn't realize we were getting some frickin' Edgar Allan Poe here, too.
Hey.
Rarity hasn't stopped sewing since she woke up. Pinky keeps trying to tell jokes, and Spike is trying his best to laugh without crying. Oh, my boy.
Oh my God.
I'm trying to remember, and I just can't. I want to say something, but what can I say? I just wish this was a dream, and that I could wake up in my bed with the sun shining on my face, but every time I sleep, it's that nightmare, that alley, that candle, that face. Joke about Wizzy. It's taunting me with that blank stare and that smile. It wants me to give in, but I won't. It wants to break me, but I'm stronger than that. I have my friends still. I have hope still. I have hope. Hope. That's it! Hope! I'm sorry, that's just what it sounded like.
I bet from, like, Pinky's perspective, she's like, I'm trying to tell jokes to keep everyone happy, but Rarity hasn't stopped sewing since she woke up, and Twilight won't stop writing in her journal.
Yeah, probably. The hell are they, stupid or something? I'm trying to help.
April 29th.
The
It's getting
fourth
so
best
hard.
day in the world.
Why?
Because April 29th is awesome.
Okay, I'll take your word for it. We'll see next year. It's getting so hard to keep my eyes open. I'm worried that if I sleep, she'll come back and let them in. We are all worried. Some of the whispers are different. There are friends and family. Some are angry and others are caring. Maybe they're running out of ideas. Maybe they'll give up soon. I have to keep writing. I can't fall asleep. Rarity is crying about her parents and Sweetie Belle. They keep calling out to her. They say they miss her, and she wants to go to them. I keep telling her it isn't them. I can hear my parents too. I want to believe it isn't them, but they sound so real. Pinky is quiet and calm. Maybe she knows what's coming. Maybe she did the smart thing and gave up. I can hear her praying. I didn't know she prayed.
Well, good on her.
Spike can barely speak. He keeps clutching me. I try to comfort him, but it seems so pointless. The whispers aren't whispers anymore. The wind isn't the wind anymore. I can't fall asleep. I can't close my eyes. I can't let it end. Not like this. Oh, do not give gentle into that good night. That is Edgar Allan Poe.
No, it isn't.
The writing becomes long, and a final quill stroke falls to the bottom of the page. I can't give up.
Yeah, well, anyways. This is the... What?
I wasn't sure if you were expecting me to read that or something.
No. What? No, silly boy. This is the last written page of the journal. It is entirely in print. No other markings are found on future pages. I blinked, and Pinky was gone. Rarity started to yell about eyes watching her, and the screams. I couldn't hear them. She cried. She wanted me to make it stop. I can't. She wanted to wake up. I want to too. Too. I'm sorry, this is very serious. Spike wouldn't say a word. I felt so cold, even with the light, and Spike clutching me tight. Sick rhymes. The lantern started to go out. I closed my eyes to form a light, and Rarity wasn't there. It was quiet again. I did my best to comfort Spike. It felt so easy, with the whispers gone. It was so easy to push him away into the dark. I had tried everything, and it was worthless. I struggled, and the chains became tighter. I tried to forget it and just keep coming back. Why did I hope when there was none to begin with? The light is starting to flicker now. I can't tell if I'm giving in or just losing strength. The face is there, at the edge of the light. There are a lot of them. They're all the same. They're smiling. They look so happy. I want to be happy too. I can't keep fighting it. It's the truth, right? The end. No. A beginning? Yes, their beginning. To a better path. If you could only see, you'd know. This is what she meant. It's so beautiful. I'm ready. It's the only choice I have left. And then we have a final image. All else failed. So, that was A Fleeting Light in the Darkness, one of the funniest things I've ever read. Kidding, of course. It's... Jesus Christ.
I'm just thinking of the one song from Frozen 2 with the last thing there, the next right thing. It's like the beginning part there. It's like, I've seen dark before, but not like this.
I fucking love that. Okay, anyways, that was A Fleeting Light in the Darkness. Did you know it had a freaking sequel?
Oh, it did?
Yeah.
How do you have a sequel to that?
I don't know. Can't wait to read it. Maybe next year. Oh, and
Yeah.
that one has a sequel too. Oh, and that one has a sequel too. Oh, that
Are you
one's the last one.
serious?
Okay. Yep.
What the frick?
A Fleeting Light in the Darkness
Oh,
has 3 sequels. We'll see what
I bet it's
happens there.
I bet it's like Applejack's journal or Rainbow Dash's journal or something like that.
I wouldn't be
Oh, it has
surprised.
to be because they were talking about Applejack's journal when she went to the Sweet Apple Acres. So that has to be one of them. Come on. But this is the best horror fic we've read so far, I think.
Freaking by a long shot. I adore this a lot. I think, yeah, there's a reason it's considered one of the best horror fan fictions in the fandom. Cupcakes can go to hell. Rainbow Factory can shove something up its butt. I don't care. This one is amazing. You were gonna say?
I was gonna say I can see why it's the most liked horror fic in the fandom.
Yeah, at least on FimFiction. Not so sure about others, but yeah, this one has always been a fan favorite, and that ain't stopping now because it's still real good.
Yep.
So I don't care who you are. If you haven't read or given this a like before, go down and give it a like, and then maybe rate its sequels as well.
So like they had like H.P. Lovecraft style, Edgar Allan Poe style, and then even some Dr. Seuss at the end with the last image just reading Unless.
I mean, doesn't read that, but yeah, yeah.
Oh, maybe it reads something else for you, but it says that for me. I
It literally reads the opposite of unless, I think.
don't know. Basically.
So yeah.
Yeah. So this is the best horror fic that we have read.
Bar none. Expect this to go very high in the top 100 fics we've read. Whenever we get to episode 100.
This is the last Halloween fic of the year, so happy Halloween, everyone.
Oh, this is Halloween. Oh, I thought we were doing this for November. Okay, well, happy Halloween, guys. Next month we're doing. You want to do a Gen 5 month?
Oh, that sounds good.
Yeah.
Or at least
Okay, it's gonna be a Gen 5 month,
5.
everybody.
All right. Bye.
That was the last recording Wizzy and Ross ever recorded. They were mysteriously found not there in their rooms. No one ever saw them again.
I will be right back.
Alright. In the meantime, I'll just discuss to our listeners what's been happening. So, these guys found this journal, right? And apparently it was Twilight Sparkle's journal. They keep finding like scattered pages apparently throughout the town, yada yada. But Twilight Sparkle started writing it just off a random chance. And then apparently this pony goes missing. And then it's kind of confusing at first, but it doesn't really. It's not really a big deal or anything like that. And then more ponies start to go missing, and they're like, "Wait, that's a bit confusing." And then some other stuff happens. Oh right, yeah. So they're like, "Hey guys, everyone's going missing," and they're like, the princess is like, "Don't worry, I got my best guys on the team, on the job." So she sends down some guards or investigators or whatever. And they're like, "What the fuck is going on here?" And then like one of them gets attacked, right? And at this point, I think like everybody's like not going out at night or anything like that. But yeah, two guys get attacked or something like that, and like by a creature, and the creature drags some of them away, and like the other guy, oh, he drops it, right? So then he he goes, I've dropped my thing, but the light seemed to be keeping the creatures at bay, right? So now they're like, all right, we got to get these lights to scare away the creatures, and they do that, right? And it seems to work, but they're all like huddled away from like, or they're like, so Rarity, Fluttershy, Twilight, and Spike are all, oh, and Pinkie Pie, they're all like in this house now, trying to stay safe, stay warm, stay together. Um, and Applejack and Rainbow Dash go off and they do their own thing. I'm sure they have their own little adventure. It's fun and everything. So then, uh, what's her name? Twilight's, she's writing down all the events. Something weird's going on with Fluttershy, right? So Fluttershy tries to scramble and blah and whatever. And Twilight's like, no, you stop doing that. Stop being a little idiot. And eventually, things get pretty weird, but Twilight like tries to go and find Applejack. She tries to go to Sweet Apple Acres to find Applejack, and apparently Rainbow Dash was there too. We already knew that, or I already knew that and you guys already knew that because I just described that to you. But anyways, so yeah, she goes to Sweet Apple Acres to fight, or not to fight. To find uh, everyone there, and she's like, "Hey guys, I'm here." Pew 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 pew. Oh God, there's a bunch of graves here. What's this? Some writing. So she reads the writing, and it's like, holy shit, what the fuck happened here, right? So then,
does she know?
So then she goes back to the place, and she's like, "Hey guys, I'm back," and everyone's like, "Yay!" Oh, by the way, we tied Fluttershy up. Have you seen War of the Worlds? It's kind of like that. And so yeah, Fluttershy's gone mad and stuff like that, and that's where we are in the story.
Who are you explaining this to?
Me.
You've gone mad. Oh no.
It's okay. Everything's fine.